Yes, as we already know, and new WBA welterweight champion of the world, Teofimo Lopez, defeating Rolly Romero via majority decision, which it should have never been a majority decision. You know what I'm saying? It should have been unanimous, but we had a couple of drunk judges out there in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the T-Mobile arenas that I believe that their license should be revoked and suspended. Now, and also shout out to Teofimo Lopez Sr., 2020 Trainer of the Year, by giving a great game plan and instructions in which Teofimo Lopez executed the game plan, and also weathered the storm in the 5th round where he got cut, he got buzzed, and, you know what I'm saying, skills pay the bills, but also courage, determination, balls, cojones pay the bills as well. I think that Rolly Romero, in my opinion, was a little bit delusional, believing that he won that fight. I mean, I'm not gonna get mad if he feel like he wants a rematch. He's a champion he was a champion at the end of the day. You know, but it was a great outing for Teofimo Lopez, barbecuing the ribs of Rolly Romero. Maybe the judges didn't want to credit the body shots, and that happens sometimes. But Teofimo Lopez went to the body very, very well. Now, of course, there's going to be some pros and cons, and what's going to be next for Teofimo Lopez in the stacked division, in the 147-pound division, which is alive and well, especially with a champion of TO. Then you got Ryan that's going to be facing Conor Ben. You got Devin Haney that's possibly going to be facing Pyro. We don't know, but we got some good champions and great matchups to look forward to in the near future. What's next? Right away, I want Teofimo Lopez ASAP to get scar tissue surgery. I think that should be the next move ASAP. He's getting opened up too easily, and I think heading to a potential unification bout with a guy like Ryan Garcia. They got a good left hook, you know what I'm saying, on that right eye. You know what I'm saying? You don't want him to land a hook and then you start bleeding, and you don't want to have a possibility where there's a good fight and you're doing good, but the cut is so open that they need to stop the fight. You know what I'm saying? Also, you got a Devin Haney that got a good jab and stuff like that. So you really gotta think of the possibility. Not that you getting beat, but because of the cuts and the thin skin, I think it's time for Teofimo Lopez to get that procedure, because he is getting cut too easy now. All his fights, he's truly getting cut, and I think he should handle that right now that these fighters are kind of a little bit busy for the rest of the year. So heading to early 2027. You know what I'm saying? It's healed and it's good to go when it's time to go to sparring, mini camp, and stuff like that. I think his team should really emphasize that and right away go under the knife and get that taken care of. Also, I've seen people trying to devalue the fight or performances when it comes to, there was not a lot of people, or the event, there was not a lot of people in T-Mobile Arena. Let me tell you like this, ladies and gentlemen, where boxing is at right now, the business of boxing is failing the fans and failing these fighters as well when it comes to attraction, right? Because look, you got to have some anticipation, you got to have momentum going into a big fight. Excuse me. And also, there got to be some a regional fight as well. Yes, Rolly Romero's from Las Vegas. He was a champion, PBC, and stuff like that. At the end of the day, Rolly Romero hasn't been in the ring for over a year. And Teofimo Lopez, which lost to Shakur Stevenson this past January 31st in Madison Square Garden, was probably his worst performance. You know what I'm saying? Was not entertaining as well. So heading into this fight, you got to understand, and both of these guys, yes, they're known for knowing how to promote a fight, but they wasn't really trash talking each other until the press conference, which they should have, been a little bit more entertaining. And that's something that we expect, especially from Rolly. Rolly, as of late, do not want to truly promote the way that he was normally promoting, in the lead-up fights to like Tank Davis and things of that nature. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, they got to understand that you just don't sell the fight in the ring, but you got to sell the fight outside of the ring. And I think they was a little bit too friendly. I think that Rolly Romero was a little bit too friendly, and maybe he should have sparked it up in the promo. But anyway, they're friends. They friends they really, really close, and maybe they didn't want to go and really disrespect each other, and lose that bond that they do have We got to give a lot of credit to Rolly Romero and Teofimo Lopez being friends, being good friends, and still fighting and teaching Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis how to do it. I think that's the real definition of brotherhood and friendship, where you could go into business, because that's what it is. That's it. When you go into a fight, you're going into a partnership with that opponent, and you're going to be making money together, regardless if you like each other, hate each other, close, whatever. You want to feed each other's family, and that's what it's all about. The pros and cons with, I think that Teofimo Lopez did pretty. I think Teofimo Lopez did pretty good. He was very technical, patient. I think that a lot of people that likes to say in the boxing world that before he has problems cutting the ring off, I think he did good cutting the ring off. It was kind of surprising seeing Rolly Romero bounce to the outside of the ring, not outside of the ring, but bounce to the outside, right? It's something about Teofimo Lopez power. They got these guys that's not used to run. You know what I'm saying? It happened with Sando Martin. It happened with Jermaine Ortiz. It happened with Rolly Romero. So a lot of people want to say, yo, but Teofimo Lopez's punch doesn't carry to the upper division. But it's something about his power. You know what I'm saying? Minus the Shakur Stevenson fight. I think that the Shakur Stevenson fight, he wasn't there mentally. And I'm not trying to put that excuse on it, but it is what it is. Certain things that, when you know. But credit to Shakur Stevenson early this year. But for the most part, Teofimo Lopez's power is actually getting these guys, and even Shakur Stevenson tweeted that thing out. And I've been saying that there's something about Teofimo Lopez's power that he's making these guys run. And I knew, look at Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? He paralyzed him for the first half of the fight. And where there's people in the sport of boxing that try to start this narrative, he was collecting data. Yeah, for 7 rounds, Lomachenko collecting data. Stop it. That's not Lomachenko. But it's something about his power. He's not no Kid Dynamite Mike Tyson, but Teofimo Lopez know how to jab that solar plex, and like we saw, had Rolly Romero's ribs all bloodied up, and leading up to the fight, I said the ribs. Somebody gonna barbecue the ribs, because I already seen the opening of the large torso of Rolly Romero, and I think that the body was gonna do it. Go for the body, and the head will fall. But Teo, of course, I think this is what I think that Teo maybe needs to tighten up a little bit. I think the jab was good. I think the mix punches from the bottom to the top was good, but I think the defense, I think defense a little bit is for the last 2 fights has been slacking. I think that he's getting, I don't think he's moving his head as and his reflex is as good as it was, like a Arnold Barboza, the Josh Taylor, But at the end of the day, he's an offensive fighter as well that wants to fight and is winning the fight and staying in the pocket. You ain't never gonna see Teofimo Lopez run from nobody. So once you're an offensive fighter like that and throwing those type of shots, yeah, you're gonna be subjected to be countered, and you're willing to take to get to give. So I think that his defense got to tighten up just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Reflex, not trying to catch everything, but also slip and duck some punches, of which he actually did, duck some couple of punches and stuff like that. But I think that when he's getting hit, it's like he's staying there too long sometimes. I think the catch and shoot used to be a little bit better, and maybe because maybe he's not sparring as much. I remember several fights ago, even leading up to the Josh Taylor fight, that he said in an interview and stuff like that he don't spar as much, and I think Teofimo Lopez would need to spar more, because I think there's a little bit of slippage on defense, not over exaggerated, but a little slippage on the defensive end. I mean, when he was getting jabbed up by Shakur Stevenson, it was kind of like, unlike Teofimo Lopez, to get hit by the same punch. And then Rolly Romero, I think if Rolly Romero would have put a little bit of a pressure, it would have been a more interesting fight. But again, Teofimo Lopez paralyzed him and not trying to throw, and made Rolly Romero think twice. Maybe the experience of Rolly Romero getting caught, you know what I'm saying, by the likes of Gervonta Tank Davis and losing to the Pitbull Cruz really had him, not trying to commit all the way. Even though that he did try to get him out of there in the 5th round, but credit to Teofimo Lopez in surviving. I think that a guy like Teofimo Lopez, you can't punk. If you're gonna go, I already noticed when you get into a firefight with Teofimo Lopez, You don't want to get into a fight with Teofimo Lopez. We saw that with Rolly try to do. We saw that with Josh Taylor try to do. We seen the Steve Claggett try to do. We saw that Lomachenko try to do in the middle rounds. But once Teofimo Lopez, he has another level to turn it up. I think that Teofimo Lopez was when his intellect and physical ability is coexisting at the highest level. I don't think that nobody could beat Teofimo Lopez, to be honest. When his mind is all right, when he's happy, and I said leading up to the fight that if Rolly Romero is not going to tap into the mental of Teofimo Lopez is going to be happy. He's going to be at peace. And once Teofimo Lopez is at peace and is happy in that ring, ain't nobody really nobody going to beat him and stuff like that. So I think the pros, the cons is, work a little bit on the defensive end as well. I think and also when I was saying about cutting the ring off, he don't cut the ring off. I think he cuts the ring off pretty well this fight. And also he went to the body. I remember leading up to the Pedraza. It was supposed to be the Pedraza fight, not the Sandor Martin fight. But I remember I was blessed to going to the training camp with Teofimo Lopez, and what they was really wanted to emphasize, what his father wanted to emphasize, what Teo wanted to work on was body shots. And I think I think we all saw all that work that was put in the gym. It looks like Teofimo Lopez was working in the gym and adding more to his arsenal. And that's one thing I like about Teo. Teo looks like he goes to the gym and works on things that he is not all the way. He was, put it this way, he worked on his weakness. He worked on his weakness, meaning, and I'm not saying that going to the body, I think the straight right hand to the body was always great for Teofimo Lopez, but when you're throwing some hook and designing and scientifically trying to break down Rolly Romero, hitting the left side of Rolly Romero and stuff like that, instead of just jabbing, because he has a great stiff jab, got a great right hand to the solar plex, but he was mixing those body shots, and I'm proud of Teofimo Lopez, and I remember was working on it. And those, if there was any selection of punches that he wanted to work on, was the body shots. He did pretty good in the body shot. He cut the ring off. So he did things that a lot of people has been criticizing about. It's not going to be easy not going to the body when it comes to Teofimo Lopez. I think that we're watching a guy that's going to be more of a complete fighter now that he's in his prime right now. So Teofimo Lopez got the best resume, the toughest resume within his contemporaries. He's beaten a lot of styles from southpaws, guys fighting on the outside, guys fighting on the inside, brawlers and stuff like that. Teofimo Lopez got the best resume of his contemporaries, and probably got the best resume of this of his generation. I don't even think it's debatable. He beats champions. He becomes champions by beating champions. No vacant titles. No vacant titles, no elevation. You know what I'm saying? Everything he's got, he's earned. And even though the sport of boxing try to, tamper with his legacy in terms of WBC franchise, in terms of Josh Taylor vacating his belts, y'all already know if it wasn't for the politics of the sport of boxing, the whole world would be recognizing him as the first two-division undisputed world champion in the full belt era. And since I know, and I know what the hell I'm watching, and y'all know what y'all been watching, y'all trying to play semantics, Teofimo Lopez is the first two-division undisputed world champion of this generation. Yes, he's a two-time millennial, but let's be real, let's be honest. We all know the WBC franchise, they tampered with Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez and Josh Taylor vacating the belts. Y'all want to play semantics? Oh, he didn't have the belt. Shut the F up. He's a two-division undisputed world champion, and he's on my pound-for-pound list, top 7. I think my pound-for-pound list is right now, Usyk, Bam Rodriguez, David Benavidez, Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, number 6, number 7, Devin the Dream Haney. You got Devin Haney 7, Boots number 8, Foster number 9, and Canelo Alvarez number 10. Right there, straight off the dome. Straight off the dome, ladies and gentlemen. Straight off the dome. Y'all already know, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. We're going to go live, you know what I'm saying, maybe later or tomorrow, and break all this thing down, down to the T. Love you, God bless, and on to the next.